There are more former Nickelodeon child stars who are speaking out as a result of the Quiet on Set documentary. Obviously, that had a limited scope. They couldn't possibly ask every single former Nickelodeon star for their experience and for their interview, because at some point you've got to close the boundaries on it. But what's interesting is that these are Nickelodeon stars from after the Nickelodeon golden era, even stars who weren't on Dan Schneider productions, who didn't interact with Dan Schneider. So it suggests that this is more of an institutional problem with Nickelodeon, and Dan Schneider isn't to blame for the entirety of the inappropriate conduct. Yeah. Firstly, Amber Frank played a character on Nickelodeon's Haunted Hathaways. Seriously, this is from over 10 years ago, and I had never heard of this show before. But she posted on TikTok about a horrifying situation she witnessed while working at Nickelodeon. She said, Nickelodeon sent computers over to production when we were starting filming the show. And when they were turned on, there was CP on them. Nobody was held accountable. There was no investigation. It's beyond heartbreaking to know that a company that was employing children failed miserably at protecting them. So who is to say if maybe this CP was actually depicting current employees, child employees of Nickelodeon, actually? Like, that's a huge, glaring question. I don't know if they're at all going to respond to what she said, but let's take a look at her video.
This one?
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, also, while we're on this topic, I would like to add that one of the horrifying things that happened in my experience with Nickelodeon was when Nickelodeon sent computers over to production when we were starting filming the show, and when they were turned on, there was child porn on them. And nobody was held accountable. There was no investigation, never even found out where it came from or who was responsible for it. It's beyond heartbreaking to know that a company that was employing children failed miserably at protecting them. So I am sending a lot of love to all of the victims involved, and I hope that we can create a very different environment moving forward for child actors.
And that's actually not all, because another Nickelodeon star named Ali D'Ameco talked about how she, as a 14-year-old actress on Nickelodeon, was forced to kiss a 30-year-old man. So this says, Ali D'Ameco said she had to kiss an actor who was 30 years old multiple times when she was 14. Let's take a look.
It was a scripted show, and a lot of people thought it was, a lot of kids thought that it was a documentary in real life, and people, particularly girls, wanted to fight me in real life. Like, I didn't have fans because they thought it was real life, and that I kissed this greasy ass, dusty ass dwarf. I'm sorry to this man, but I did not want to kiss him. Also, guys, I'm 4'11". He's a 30-year-old man. I'm sorry, I couldn't even watch it. It gave me fucking the ick. I couldn't. And it honestly gives me PTSD. I'm watching this Quiet on Set documentary, and it's talking about how integral and vital it is to create, especially when it's like a kids cast, to create an environment where kids feel comfortable to say no, or I don't feel comfortable with this. And then I'm like, yeah, maybe they do express that, though. It's also more important to create an environment that listens to the kids and actually does not make them do things when they don't want to do them, because they made me kiss this 30-plus-year-old man when I was like, 14, 15. I told them many times I didn't want to do it. My mom was very against it, and they just pretty much made me feel like I was going to lose my job and like be fired.
Yeah, and actually that's not the first time that she had spoken about that experience, actually. Like back in November last year, she also made a video about this, saying that it was actually a female producer who is the one that forced her to do this scene after both her and her mom complained to production about it. I would say shame on your mom, first and foremost, because she had a problem with you doing this scene, but went along with it anyway as to not cause a stir and to continue getting paychecks from, you know, your kid's job. It's messed up on all accounts for every adult involved in that situation. And I also saw Alexa Nicholas from Zoe 101. She has a podcast where she talks about a lot of these experiences with Nickelodeon stars.
$20 super chat here from Pat the Plumber says, yay, Brett's alive. Makes heart with hands. Yes.
This one or this one?
The first one.
This one only? Okay. Alexa Nicholas showed a clip of Victoria Justice having to do the exact same thing. She was, I guess, 14-year-old actress. And this actor here, who's her love interest in the show, that's an adult.
20 years old?
I believe she was 13.
No, she was not.
Is someone you didn't like?
Of course I have. I didn't like you.
But who loves me now?
Me?
Oh.
Ew! Yo!
Come on. Yeah.
What the is going on? My mind. See, this didn't happen when I was there.
This was the season after you.
Girls. Special girl.
Ew! Guys, the casting director for Zoe 101 knew the age difference, and no one went, yo, you know, crime. Isn't this an A of a minor?
Yeah, is that actually legal? Like, is there some kind of legal loophole that allows that because it's stage acting, or is that just like totally illegal on the part of Nickelodeon?
I have no idea. I've seen that actor before.
It seems like that's definitely happened before on plenty of different shows, not just on Nickelodeon, but plenty of different.
So there was a 6-year age difference or 7-year age difference between her and that guy who's 20 and 13.
Yeah. Like if your mom wouldn't be okay with it in real life, why is she okay with it because there are cameras filming it the whole time?
I mean, would the mom have been okay with it in real life? She probably would.
Jeez, it's just so dark. Like thinking about how like a lot of these parents just do not give an F.
By the way, this is why they hire older actors to play younger kids in movies and television to avoid stuff like this.
Yeah, that's true.
This is why when
that's true. But you know, like I don't know, find another kid actor if you're that intent on it being that scene, I guess.
Corey Anderson says, "Okay, I think we can all agree we need Mary's dictatorship now."
We do. It's high time. I also came across yet another story about Nickelodeon, this one in regard to Brian Peck, the one who was convicted of sex crimes against Drake Bell. So this says, Michael Bauer from Nickelodeon's Salute Your Shorts speaks out on his experience from a Nickelodeon executive in the 90s who invited him to a hotel, and Brian Peck wanting him to be naked in a film and trying to watch him undress as a teen. So I guess Brian Peck already had a pattern of behavior before Drake Bell showed up.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And I just cannot believe that someone this blatantly dangerous can get away with it for so long on the excuse that if you criticize me, you're homophobic. Back in the 90s.
That shocks you?
In the 90s, though.
That excuse would work today.
I know it would work today, but in the 90s? Seriously? It was the 90s.
How
was that?
90s in Hollywood is different from 90s. 90s in Hollywood is different from 90s the rest of the country over.
They must be living in the 2050s in Hollywood right now.
Yep.
Yeah. But Michael Bauer also recalled that he auditioned for this film at Brian Peck's house. And he did, in fact, see the John Wayne Gacy self-portrait when he was at the house.
Taylor Johnson
Same thing. I mean, at least Aaron Taylor Johnson was 18, but Michael Bauer was not.
Maybe a good first step for Hollywood would be to stop the whole auditioning at people's houses thing.
Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing?
Maybe that one would be a good idea.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.